One of the most important metrics we're using when we're doing computer vision systems, computer vision models with the Ultralytics YOLO model is look at the mean average precision. So how precise is our model? You can combine it with other different metrics as well, but the main one that we're looking at, it's mean average precision, and recall. So this is pretty much just a single metric for looking at how accurate is your model, and we want to have this as high as possible, of course, and it really depends on your use case and application. But one of the hardest things in computer vision systems is pretty much just small objects, because the smaller the objects are, the less detail, and AI models are still working on images. So when you look at an image, it's also from your eye much easier to see an image which is high resolution compared to low resolutions. If it's very pixelated, you might have a hard time recognizing things as well, but also reading text, for example, and this translates exactly into the AI models. And the AI models, they downsamples the images even further. So let's take a look at if you want to run real-time object detection, detecting small objects in your image, and you have like a 4K video, maybe you can see it in the video, but if you need to run it real-time, depending on your hardware, most of the time we downsample it down to 640 by 640 resolution. And if you look at that image, you might also be struggling a bit with smaller objects. So in this video here, we're going to talk about how we can improve the model mean average precision on small objects. We also have a full blog post here on the Ultralytics website. Go ahead and check it out. We pretty much cover every single computer vision topic out there, everything that you need to know to build computer vision systems and become a computer vision engineer. So go through the blog post. I'm going to talk about it here in this video as well. But this is pretty cool and very, very relevant, because this is where most people is struggling, but also just how do we actually get it? Like, what techniques can we apply? How can we improve our model so they're better at smaller objects? Because a lot of people, they think it's impossible, but you just need to know a few tricks and you can get it running. So here we can see why are small objects hard to detect. And maybe here you can see that there are some cars. You have a much more understanding of what's going on in the environment. The AI models, if you're based on convolutional neural networks, which is smaller models running real-time inference, they will not be able to have all this context around it. So this is really, really important to understand when you're working with these models. Again, you can have a VLM. It will have the same understanding and reasoning as you, and they're becoming better and better, but you will not be able to run this in real time, and it will also be very, very expensive to run. And that's not an option. So we need to figure out how do we actually get these cars detected, and it depends on what you want. But the main thing to focus on is the data. So how do we get good enough data? How do we reduce as much noise as possible in our annotations? Could be that if we have very small objects, our annotations is not perfectly fit around our objects. But the most important thing, in my opinion, when we're working with small objects is just thinking about the resolution. So how much resolution, how much signal we want to improve the signal to noise ratio that we feed into the AI model. So let's just take this image, for example, or we have an image further down here, which is even better to do the explanation. So we have our input image here. Let's just say that this is a full HD image. This will be very small objects. And if we take the full image and downscale it down to 640, because we want to detect these ships in full real time. So one thing that we can do, if we want the full image, maybe we can't go in and determine a specific region of interest. We want the full image. Then you can actually divide it into tiles. You can increase the resolution. Then you get more signal into the model, but it will also run slower. So this is a trade-off. You can also use something called SAHI. We have videos covering it fully, how we can set it up end to end on the channel as well. It's just a few things that you need to do, but it's pretty much just dividing the image into small tiles, and then it's just going to slide them across the image. So we use every single pixel available, or at least reduce some of the downsampling that we are doing. Then it can spot very, very small objects far away. If you just take a look at the SAHI GitHub repository, they have a very good example where we have this sliding window, and even the smallest objects far away here is able to be detected. So we wouldn't be able to do this if we just feed in the image in one go, but of course this is also going to take up way more processing power, but still significantly less compared to running a VLM or something like that, and it's just a limitation of the models and pretty much impossible to solve. So another thing that you can do, and you can do that in most computer vision applications, which I'm doing as well, is that most often you don't need the full image. So that could be a specific region. Maybe this one here, you want to detect the full image if there's something going on top of the water. But in a lot of computer vision applications, we have very specific regions that we want to detect something. That could also be the cases up here with the cars. So there's a lot of the buildings here on the sidewalk. There's a lot of things here which is pretty much just not necessary to feed into the AI models, which is just noise. So all of this here on the side, if you're just detecting the main road, is pretty much noise. But if we include this in our image that goes into the model, it just adds more noise. The signal is in the lanes in here. So if there's a way that we can crop out this region so we keep as much of the signal as possible, then we can reduce the noise and we will get a higher signal to noise ratio. This is really, really important thing to think about when we're dealing with detecting smaller objects and just improving our models in general. And this doesn't apply to computer vision, this applies to any machine learning model, any algorithm out there. We want to just have as much signal as possible so we can either get better accuracy or reduce the processing needed. So this is very, very important. And then also just the data set quality, as I mentioned in the start, and the annotations. This plays a critical role. It really depends on how good are your bounding boxes. Are you including noise in your bounding boxes as well? So one thing is, what do you feed into the model? What do you have your labels which the model is training on and learning from? Because if you also have a lot of noise in the labels, you will have a lot of noise in what you're feeding into the model. All of these things, they're pretty much just accumulating together. And it might not be the biggest problem if you have like a very basic computer vision application, but if you really work with multiple projects, really need to get into low level, deep level stuff, it really comes down to how do you understand pixel level and how these models work on the pixel level as well. So this is very, very cool, but also just data augmentation. It can also improve the accuracy significantly. So it could be that you have very small objects, but it might not be able to detect it because it looks so different and it has very few pixels to be able to extract the visual features from, depending on the orientation of the object, could be lighting conditions. So this is some of the things that you can use data augmentation for. But just understanding what's going on a pixel level and how these models work, because once you get down to a few pixels for very small objects, it is even hard for the human to understand if you just take the reasoning and the context away. This is how you should think about the CNN-based models like YOLO for real-time object detection. So this is very, very important. Here's like pretty much just the model training steps. So it's like start with a pre-trained model, use transfer learning strategically. Also, if you have very, very small objects, you might be able, and you have enough data, you can train it from scratch and you might be able to get better results compared to the pre-trained models, which is usually learning features at higher resolution. You can address class imbalance, could be a reason why smaller objects, they appear less, because if you have a lot of classes with persons walking around, they're huge, and you want to maybe detect a mouse or something, like whatever class, like just something very, very small compared to the other classes, then if you only have a few instances of that mouse, it might not be able to detect it because it's just overfitting to that person class. So you can tune confidence, intersection over union thresholds. That's also very important. Usually you will need to go a bit lower confidence for your smaller objects. So this is pretty cool. You can do some size aware evaluation for small object detection. You can go through the text that we have in the blog post as well. Real world trade-offs, very, very important. Every time we make decisions, it's pretty much always a trade-off between accuracy and speed, because if we only want like one image processed every hour, we can just feed it into a VLM. But if we want 10 frames per second running, there's only one way, and that is to use the Ultralytics YOLO models. So you can pull all of it together. If you just sum it up, data quality, very, very important. You can clean up your labels. You can just make it consistent, make sure you don't have class imbalances for smaller objects, and then also just use data augmentation. Think about it in pixel space. How are these models actually seeing the images, and how are they using that information to generate the output results? And then once we get in, we have our model. How can we manipulate the image? How can we extract the region of interest? How can we divide it into tiles so we make sure that we're detecting all the small objects? This is very, very important. Make sure you understand this. Very, very important when you're building real world computer vision applications and projects. Hope you learned a ton. Definitely go through it. Like, go through the video again, really try to work with these things when you're working with the YOLO models, because the training part of it, running inference, that's very, very easy. It's just a few lines of code. All the other things here is what really matters. Hope you learned on. Hope to see you guys in one of the upcoming videos. Until then, happy learning.